let's have a look what's gonna happen here. We are live with the game, and starting to the top right of the map, we have our Protoss player, a former StarTale player. Now we're gonna join one of the Casper teams. He's starting in red, and he is, of course, StarTale, PartinG.
Yep.
Still with the StarTale.
It's hard to forget,
Yeah, it's a little bit weird. I was a bit shocked when he told me that he's gonna leave the team.
There were that announcement with the TSL announcement at the same time, man. That really freaked me out.
Yeah. Bottom left of the map, we have our Zerg player. He is starting in blue for his team Incredible Miracle. He's 1-0 in this best of 5. He is I am Nestea. And one of the things that are really important about Daybreak, especially when PartinG is playing, is that this is one of the games or one of the maps where PartinG's style has been analyzed by another Zerg player in the Blizzard Cup already. Lenog saw that PartinG doesn't send out an early scout, usually when he goes for his normal Forge build, which by the way is this time not the case. And then it reacted by just going into double hatch before pool because he knew that PartinG's scouting pattern would not check for his timings.
Yeah.
But now we have a completely different game. We suddenly have PartinG with a pylon in the main base, and at the same time Nestea with a 10 pool.
Yeah, early pool coming out, and how is PartinG going to respond? It all depends on his build. Does he go Nexus first with the Forge in the main, or does he go Forge in the main and then Nexus? Because if he goes Forge in the main before Nexus, he's going to be extremely good to defend against this. But if he goes Nexus first, it's going to be a little bit more awkward. He can defend it, though, a lot easier, even if he goes Nexus first, than he would be able to, for example, if he went for a normal Forge on the low ground.
He goes for the Nexus first here, and right now what we are seeing is PartinG not scouting. Once again, he doesn't send a single unit out to see what's going on here, while as Nestea is now in a position where he builds his first Zerglings. He just completed his spawning pool, so once again an aggressive opening by Nestea, and this is once more one of these things. He probably did the same, or assumed that PartinG would go for the same scouting pattern, the same build order that he used against Lenog and other Zerg players in the Blizzard Cup, and that would have finished PartinG off immediately.
Yeah.
But this time, PartinG changes the things a little bit. He goes for the pylon in the main base, now the Forge, tries to hide the upgrades later on, and he sends the probe out to find, to have the least vision on the Xel'Naga Watchtower. And this is something that Nestea knows, because that's something that PartinG has always done on this map, but he doesn't try to hide the Zerglings and run past the vision range. He goes straight for the main base.
Yep, I think that he already saw with his Overlord that the probe was going to see him, so he was like, well, you're just going to see me. I gotta get there as fast as possible. Here's the probe pull for PartinG. He needs to buy time for that cannon, and Lings are already attacking it, but really nice mission by PartinG. He needs to pull back his weakened probes. He's actually going to do a drill here.
Well done. Not a lot of surface area here for Nestea to work with. He takes down a few harvesters regardless. And PartinG now finally with this cannon done. But the Zerglings are already running back to the mineral patches, trying to make sure that they can do a bit of damage and at least deny the mining.
Yeah. PartinG lost 2 workers in total there. Worker count 17 to 14 now. He can produce from both Nexi if he wants to, but he's losing some mining time. He has to keep his probes on the ramp so the Lings don't get in.
Exactly.
And if he brought them into his main base, he wouldn't get that much better saturation. Yeah, it would be better. But for him, yeah, it sucks that he can't mine from his second Nexus, but it's more important he stays alive. And Nestea goes for a follow-up attack here. This is actually really scary. The Zealot, though, does come out. He decides to go for the cannon, which I think was actually a poor choice. He could have tried to run by and go into the main.
He kills 3 additional probes, but with the Zealot coming out, PartinG has everything that he needs to defend. But for PartinG, this is of course really a dire situation, because he lost so much mining time. His cybernetics core got heavily delayed. His entire tech is now really late, especially since he also started a pylon in the third base of Nestea. Nestea has to deal with it, needs to send a few Zerglings over. PartinG decides to cancel it, but Nestea doesn't really know that. He doesn't want to gamble on it.
Yeah.
So he sends a few Zerglings out. But the opening so far was really good for Nestea. He's now on 22 harvesters against 21. Doesn't have the third base yet, but he was able to throw PartinG's timings off completely.
Yeah, he also got, Nestea got 2 gases after this, so we're going to see some pretty quick tech out of him, I think. He might even go 2 hatch mutas, would not be surprised after the opening, because he's at an advantageous position. For some reason, that just could not come out, but he's in a position where he is ahead of his opponent, and ever since everything of PartinG is delayed, he can get those Mutalisks out.
And we have seen Mutalisks play on this map against Korean Protoss. Nurture, one of the players that really loves it. And here comes this early tech. It goes straight into the lair. Doesn't waste any time with his speed for the Zerglings. He goes straight into the lair tech with the first 100 gas that he mines. And now Nestea supply blocked for a few seconds, but getting more and more gas at a natural. And it really looks like we're gonna see the Spire tech from him.
Yeah, I think it's gotta be.
Talking about tech, PartinG without an upgrade just yet, no
Ooh.
+1,
And he goes robotics.
into Robo.
This is what you might expect from PartinG, but this is not going to be good against what Nestea is doing. Even if Nestea is doing some sort of really weird investor play, which is not his style at all, and it's going to be good against this robotics with how this times out, because it's going to be so safe with it. Nice micro by Nestea here, using the Ling. Like that was a hero Ling.
The Zealot, PartinG wanted to scout so badly, but he doesn't get the Zealot into the main base.
I don't think he saw. Pretty sure he didn't see the lair at all.
No, he didn't see anything. He doesn't know about the lair timing, and ST decides to not go into the Spire, but he goes for the Infestors here.
A little bit strange, but it makes sense.
If you consider his usual style, that's definitely a bit of a change. Usually he goes into the Spire attack, he loves to go Mutalisks, but this time he decides to do what he usually does in training, goes for the Infestors, and for Nestea, this is a pretty cool position, because PartinG is apparently going into this, Immortal. No, actually, thinking about it, he's going to change things up a little bit. He goes for a double Observer here. With how he started his build, it looked like an Immortal push, but with the delay of the Cybernetics core and with his timings being completely off, he decided to not do it and goes into an attempted third base instead, which makes a lot of sense. An Immortal push with those timings being completely screwed up with ST's earlier aggression would have been doomed. There would just no way for him to do anything about it. So right now we have the Twilight Council coming up, +1 attack, can go into +2, has the additional gates in the main base, and can now try to secure himself a third base, whereas Nestea already has his hatch at the third halfway down.
And look at what Nestea's doing at his hatchery, he's making the gases preemptively. We talked about this before.
Yeah.
This is something I really like to see more and more Zerg players doing, because it's extremely critical to get that gas up as soon as possible as a Zerg player. You need the gas way more than the minerals.
We talked about it just this week. It was a Zerg versus Zerg where it happened, but it also applies, of course, to the matchup against Protoss. It makes so much sense for the Zerg player, and ST does it. I really like it a lot here. Goes into the Spire now after all, needs it, of course, to deal with the potential Colossi tech, needs it also to get a few more options. And also the Overlord creep spread that we have at the right side of the map at the third base. PartinG kills the Overlord. Nestea supply blocked for a few seconds, but the third base once again delayed.
Yeah. Nestea, with all of his tech that he's going to have so early, should be able to deal fairly well with any sort of 3-base push that PartinG might want to go for. On this map, we see less and less often players going for that, though. That's usually something you see only on Entombed Valley recently. Maybe you see on Cloud Kingdom, but usually on this particular map, you see cross players try to go for late game if they take a third at all. I really like the gases, just to mention that again. One reason why Zerg players might not want to take those gases is because they're scared they might not be able to hold their third, but Nestea had all the information. PartinG's sitting in his base, he's teching. He has no reason to believe that his gases would be in danger.
And now he has those Infestors out, already gathering energy. He could even see the Observer and go for a Fungal if he's really trying to make sure that there are no scouting information.
It's really important that PartinG knows that the Infestors are coming, though, because he can get ready at his third base. He can add an additional cannon if he wants to.
We don't have Burrow, which is definitely one of the things I want to highlight here. This means that the Infestors can't just burrow and then try to retreat. They have to make sure that they can run away, and so far they don't have a lot of support there, just a couple of Zerglings here.
Yeah, and with the Observer following this, he could definitely kill them even if they were burrowed, just considering the retreat, but Nestea looks like he just wants to pressure a little bit here. He's not going to commit.
And the funny thing is that Nestea, yes, he doesn't go hardcore into Mutalisks, but he still wants them, and he's going for 10. So he shows a few Infestors, and they have the Zergling support here, but the main part of his gas goes to 14 Mutalisks that nearly have +1. So this is going to completely blindside PartinG. He has no idea that this is going to happen.
He has no idea those force fields are really good. Oh my god, he was able to pick off an Infestor. Now he's going to try to intercept, and yeah, he's going to get all 4 of them. He should be able to get all 4 of them.
One Fungal, that's all that he gets off. A few Stalkers die, and this is actually significant. Losing these Stalkers is going to be a problem for PartinG. He expects expects now Nestea to go into more Infestors and normal play, but Nestea suddenly has all these Mutalisks ready that he is still hiding, and now he's flying over to the main base of his opponent, so the Stalker count is going to be really crucial in this game.
Nestea is forced to cancel his 4th base, but this was actually something that he knew about from the beginning as soon as he saw the push coming out. And this is going to totally blindside PartinG. He has no cannons, he has no units on him, he's got nothing, he's going to lose way too much here.
He immediately pulls all of his probes away though and warps in a 2 Stalkers. He has to fight with the safety of the cannons. And of course Nestea is now defending at his main base as PartinG initiated an attack as soon as he realized that those Mutalisks were running in. Now the force fields are really amazing, trapping those Stalkers at the wall, making sure that the Zerglings don't get any surface area.
It almost might even be better for Nestea to try to not fight those Stalkers until the force fields are gone, but here come the Mutas to try to finish things off. PartinG barely has enough anti-air for now, but with 8 additional Mutas with the Zergling support coming out, if he gets that one key bungle, could change everything, and he does. The Sentry is a little bit late on their force fields here. Nestea should be able to drive PartinG back.
Yeah, PartinG is already retreating. He's in full retreat right now. He doesn't have a Guardian Shield anymore, and those Stalker numbers are just dwindling. He's trying to warp additional ones in. The reinforcement from the main base already here, but PartinG down to 95 supply. But Nestea has to back off now.
Yeah.
With only Mutalisk, he can't fight this.
With a few of those warp-ins for PartinG, he really was able to turn things around, but the Harvester count is not as tragic for PartinG as it could be. He's down to 53, and he can still make 3 probes at once. So if he keeps killing Nestea's Overlords that are on bad rallies as well, he should be able to catch up and supply and equalize and maybe be able to push this all the way through.
He has 3 bases now, so he's in a decent spot with a +2 attack upgrade. But now comes Nestea moving in again. Nice blink micro by PartinG, doing a decent job here.
Yeah, no sentries though, so eventually he is going to start to run out of steam. His Stalker's getting so low on hit points, but his micro basically perfect at this point.
And there are just too many Stalkers. I'm not quite sure if Nestea really wants to fight this without the Zergling support. Yes, those Stalkers are low HP, but those Mutalisks don't stand a chance without anything on the ground to help them out.
Yeah, no Carapace upgrades on the Mutas as well. Makes it a lot easier for PartinG to pick them off. Nestea losing so many Overlords this game. I think he's probably lost like 7 or 8 at this point.
PartinG currently with the Stalker count of 26 against 20 Mutalisks. Nestea is going for another 7. This is so close. If one of them loses either the Stalker or the Mutalisk force, this game is just gonna snowball.
I'm a little bit surprised Nestea doesn't try to sneak 1 or 2 Infestors into his composition to lock these Stalkers down and fungal them, since there's no sentries left as well. Yeah, he's not going to be able to get as much of a damage output that we want with all these Stalkers low on hit points. If he gets to surround the Mutas, bounce damage as well. I think 1 or 2 Infestors instead of 2 or 3 Mutas could be much better for him here, but he's reluctant.
Yeah. I completely agree. One of those initial fungals might help him a lot, but this allows PartinG to just blink and
He is in the perfect spot
with his micro all day long. The Queens are now helping out, but the Zerglings on the ground are already gone, and suddenly PartinG is in the position where he can move forward, and indeed he does. Goes onto the high ground at the natural, tries to make sure that those Zerglings have to fight in the choke point.
Yeah, he keeps poking with the Stalkers and then going back to the safety. Neither player really wanted to transition out of what they're doing. Nestea says I'm building only Lings and Mutas, and PartinG says I'm building only Stalkers. No Colossi started for a transition because he knows Nestea is not transitioning either. All he needs to make is Stalkers. And yeah, it's difficult to fight against the Lings without sentries, but if he goes into that choke point every time, it's fine. And Nestea consistently rallying more and more Overlords to die against PartinG's units. He killed another one there. He has that Observer for the high ground, so
we have so many Stalkers, and also, of course, the numbers of Mutalisks 35 against 41. This is getting a little bit insane. If the +2 attack upgrade would finish for Nestea, then he had such a good edge over PartinG's army.
Yeah.
But PartinG is completely relying on Stalkers here, and as you already said, 1 or 2 Infestors might do wonders with just a good fungal, and then all those Stalkers not able to retreat.
He's going for a flank, it looks like, with these Lings, or maybe a counterattack. Either way, it would be better than trying to fight at that choke point over and over again. I think PartinG has way too many Stalkers this time. You know, a 3-base Zerg cannot easily compete with a 3-base Frost. The Lings coming from the back, but PartinG's micro is impeccable. We'll see. It's really close. In fact, the Queens join in.
Is losing way too much here. We have transducers. PartinG is trying. Can Nestea push his way through? Currently, it looks it's either.
This is so close. Actually, more Stalkers warping in. Nestea's Muta's getting low, but so are the Stalker hit points. He needs those 20 Lings to pop out. Some of them starting to come through here, and PartinG looks like he may have just barely done it with his warp-ins here. The Mutas have to come back.
The there are more Mutalisks
And he
now.
blinks into
Zerglings coming in.
Zerglings, yeah.
Zerglings moving in as well. He still has lava available. He can go for it, but the reinforcements for Nestea are also there. And sorry, for the PartinG. I feel that PartinG has done it right now.
Yeah, I think so, but he's losing more and more Starkers. Needs to keep up that micro. He takes out the last of the Muse, and that's it. GG.